The headquarters of Hawthorne Global had survived economic recessions, financial crashes, hostile takeovers, and decades of fierce competition. Its gleaming glass skyscraper stood as a symbol of wealth, power, and prestige. Thousands of people dreamed of working there because securing a position at Hawthorne Global often meant a lifetime of financial security. Employees admired the company. Investors respected it. Competitors feared it. At the center of it all stood Billionaire CEO Adrian Hawthorne, one of the youngest and most successful business leaders in the country. Known for his brilliant mind and ruthless efficiency, Adrian believed every decision should be based on numbers, performance, and results. To him, emotions had no place in business. On an unusually quiet Monday morning, however, something happened that no quarterly report could explain. The spacious marble lobby was filled with employees hurrying toward elevators while assistants balanced coffee cups and laptops. Security guards greeted executives by name. Conversations echoed softly beneath the massive crystal chandelier. Then everything stopped. Near the executive elevators stood an elderly janitor beside an old cleaning cart whose wheels squeaked every time it moved. His name was Samuel Brooks. His uniform had been washed so many times that the blue fabric had faded almost gray. His shoes were polished but heavily worn, and deep wrinkles covered hands that had spent decades cleaning floors, repairing broken furniture, fixing leaking pipes, and quietly keeping the building running while everyone else chased promotions. Across from him stood Adrian Hawthorne. Perfectly tailored navy suit, luxury watch, confident posture, cold expression. He held a termination document in one hand. "I've reviewed the restructuring report," Adrian said calmly. "Your position has been eliminated. Today will be your final day with Hawthorne Global." Silence. The words echoed through the lobby. Employees froze. Some secretly recorded with their phones. Others exchanged uncomfortable glances. Samuel simply nodded. "I understand, sir." No anger. No pleading. No complaints. He thanked human resources for the opportunity to work there. Then he quietly packed the few belongings from his janitor's locker into a small cardboard box. Inside were an old lunch container, a faded family photograph, a worn Bible, a pair of reading glasses, and an employee identification card issued more than 30 years earlier. As Samuel turned toward the revolving doors, the old identification card slipped from the box. It landed face up on the polished marble floor. Adrian instinctively bent to pick it up. At first it seemed ordinary. An outdated employee badge from decades ago. But then his eyes stopped. Printed on the back was an emergency contact. Grace Hawthorne. His mother's name. Adrian felt his heartbeat slow, then race. His fingers trembled. The color drained from his face. He looked at Samuel. "Where did you get this?" Samuel sighed softly. "I was hoping you'd never have to ask." Those 7 words shattered the certainty Adrian had built his entire life upon. What Adrian was about to uncover would expose a 30-year-old secret buried beneath billions of dollars, corporate success, and painful family silence. A secret powerful enough to change everything. But before we continue, if you enjoy emotional stories filled with shocking family secrets, unforgettable plot twists, inspiring redemption, and heartwarming endings, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story. Also, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? We love seeing viewers from around the world, and your support helps us continue bringing you powerful stories every week. Now, let's discover why one forgotten employee file turned out to be worth far more than $1 billion fortune. Samuel Brooks never dreamed of becoming wealthy. He believed something far more valuable existed. Character. Growing up in a quiet farming town, his father repaired tractors while his mother taught children at the local elementary school. Money was always scarce. There were winters when the family survived on homemade soup. Summers when every dollar mattered. Birthdays celebrated with handmade gifts instead of expensive toys. Yet Samuel never remembered feeling poor. His parents taught him honesty, hard work, respect, and kindness. "Money comes and goes," his father often said. "But your name follows you forever." Those words became Samuel's compass. At 22 years old, carrying only one suitcase and a handwritten recommendation letter, Samuel moved to the city searching for opportunity. He was nervous. The city felt enormous. The skyscrapers seemed impossible, but Hawthorne Industries gave him a chance. His first position wasn't glamorous. Maintenance assistant. He swept warehouses, fixed broken equipment, painted walls, delivered supplies, cleaned offices after executives went home. Most people barely noticed him. Samuel didn't mind. He believed every job deserved excellence. He arrived before sunrise every morning. He stayed after everyone else had left. When coworkers struggled financially, Samuel quietly shared his lunch. When someone was sick, he covered their shift without asking for overtime. If a new employee looked nervous, Samuel became the first friendly face they met. Slowly, people throughout the company began recognizing him, not because of his title, but because of his heart. Among those who noticed him was someone nobody expected, Grace Hawthorne, the founder's only daughter. Unlike many members of the wealthy Hawthorne family, Grace never enjoyed expensive parties or elite social circles. She preferred walking through the factories, talking with mechanics, sharing lunch with receptionists, learning employees' names. One rainy afternoon, she found Samuel repairing a leaking pipe in the old manufacturing building. Instead of walking past him, she picked up a wrench. Need an extra pair of hands? Samuel laughed. I don't think executives usually fix pipes. Grace smiled. I've never liked doing what executives usually do. That single conversation became an unlikely friendship. Every Friday, they shared coffee in the employee cafeteria. They talked about books, family, dreams, faith, life. Neither cared about social status. Grace admired Samuel's integrity. Samuel admired Grace's compassion. Years passed. The friendship remained. Then tragedy struck. Grace fell seriously ill. Very few people inside the company knew. She continued working quietly while hiding her diagnosis from almost everyone, including her young son, Adrian. Samuel became one of the few people she trusted completely. One evening, after everyone else had gone home, Grace invited Samuel into her office. Rain tapped gently against the windows. She opened an old filing cabinet. From inside, she removed a thick employee folder. She placed it on the desk. If anything ever happens to me, she whispered, promise me you'll protect this. Samuel looked confused. What is it? My son's future. She explained that Adrian's father had become obsessed with wealth after the company's explosive success. Power had changed him. He wanted Adrian raised to believe emotions were weakness. Compassion was a liability. People existed only as assets. Grace feared the values she cherished would disappear after her death. Inside the employee file were handwritten letters, family documents, photographs, and one final letter addressed to Adrian. Don't give this to him until the day he truly needs it. Samuel promised. Days later, Grace Hawthorne passed away. The funeral was attended by politicians, celebrities, executives, and international business leaders. Samuel stood quietly in the back. No one noticed him crying. After Grace's death, everything changed. Adrian's father transformed Hawthorne Industries into a ruthless corporate empire. Thousands were laid off. Departments disappeared. Employee benefits shrank. Relationships became transactions. Young Adrian watched it all. Without his mother's gentle influence, he slowly became exactly what his father wanted. Brilliant, successful, efficient, emotionally distant. Samuel wanted countless times to reveal the truth. But every time he reached for the hidden file, he remembered his promise. Wait until he truly needs it. So Samuel stayed. Year after year, promotion after promotion passed him by. Eventually his knees became weaker. His hair turned gray. His title changed from maintenance worker to janitor. Still, he remained. Not because he needed the paycheck, because he had made a promise. 30 years. Every morning, he walked the same hallways. Every evening, he locked the same doors. Always waiting. Always protecting the file hidden inside his small apartment. Then came the restructuring. Adrian never knew Samuel personally. To him, Samuel was simply employee number 01742. Age, 72. Department, maintenance. Recommendation, retirement. Approved. One signature. 30 years erased. Back in the lobby, Adrian stared at the old identification card. Tell me the truth. Samuel looked into his eyes. Not here. Minutes later, they sat alone inside Adrian's executive office. Samuel reached inside his cardboard box. From beneath the old Bible, he removed a small brass key. I've carried this for 30 years. Adrian frowned. What does it open? Your mother's private locker. Adrian's heart pounded. My mother's office was cleared after she died. Samuel slowly shook his head. Not all of it. Deep beneath Hawthorne Global's original headquarters was an abandoned records room. Dust-covered forgotten filing cabinets. Old company archives lined the walls. Samuel unlocked a rusted metal cabinet. Inside sat a single employee file wrapped carefully in protective cloth. The name read, Grace Hawthorne. Adrian carefully opened it. Inside were photographs he had never seen. Pictures of his mother eating lunch with factory workers, laughing beside mechanics, holding baby Adrian while standing next to Samuel. Then came the handwritten letters. His mother's elegant handwriting filled every page. My dear Adrian, if you're reading this, then life has finally slowed you down enough to listen. Success without kindness becomes loneliness. Wealth without compassion becomes poverty of the soul. If Samuel has given you these letters, it means he kept his promise. Trust him. He protected not only this company, he protected the part of me I hoped would one day live inside you. Adrian couldn't continue reading. Tears blurred the words. He looked at Samuel. You stayed all these years. Samuel smiled gently. I gave your mother my word. Adrian collapsed into a chair. For the first time since childhood, the billionaire cried. Not because he had lost money, not because the company was struggling, but because he realized he had spent years becoming the exact opposite of the woman who loved him most. The following morning, every employee received an urgent company-wide email. Mandatory meeting. 10 a.m. Main auditorium. No explanation. Thousands gathered. Adrian walked onto the stage. Beside him stood Samuel, the same elderly janitor he had fired the previous day. I owe everyone here an apology, Adrian began. My biggest mistake wasn't firing Samuel Brooks. He paused. My biggest mistake was forgetting that every employee has a story. The auditorium remained silent. Adrian publicly reinstated Samuel, not as a janitor, but as senior advisor for employee culture and company heritage. He announced scholarships in Grace Hawthorne's name for employees' children. He restored retirement benefits, expanded healthcare, created emergency financial assistance for struggling workers, established a mentorship program where executives spent time working alongside frontline employees. Finally, Adrian turned toward Samuel. You protected my mother's legacy when I couldn't even recognize it. Samuel smiled. I was only keeping a promise. Months later, Hawthorne Global became known not just as one of the richest companies in the world, but as one of the best places to work. Employee loyalty reached record highs. Productivity increased. Profits followed. Investors were surprised. Adrian wasn't. He had finally learned the lesson hidden inside a forgotten employee file. People are always more valuable than numbers. Respect costs nothing. Kindness creates wealth no balance sheet can measure. And sometimes, the person pushing a cleaning cart is quietly carrying the greatest treasure of all. If this story touched your heart, don't leave without supporting the channel. Please like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next emotional story. Share this video with someone who believes kindness still matters, and tell us in the comments. What would you have done if you were Adrian? We read your comments, and they inspire many of the stories we bring to you. Until next time, remember, the greatest fortunes are often hidden in the people we overlook.